Hello, in this video we're going to delve into adverbs, and right now you're probably asking yourself, well, what's so dangerous about adverbs? Why do we have to use them safely? What do you mean, Mr. Salles? So we're going to one of the most famous writers of the 20th and even the 21st century, Stephen King. He says this: I believe the road to hell is paved with adverbs. So from his perspective, adverbs are a terrible thing to introduce into your writing. Now, this, of course, is a massive problem for most writers who are learning to write because their teachers tell them include adverbs. It's a descriptive technique, and so I frequently read lots and lots of writing which is being ruined by the overuse of adverbs. Let's look at two problems of an adverb. Let's check this example here. He ran quickly, pursued by a bear. Well, that's very informative. What's wrong with the adverb, Mr. Salles? Well, people run. We understand that. And if he's pursued by a bear, we can work out from the context that he's going to run quickly. However, quickly slows the sentence down. So at the very moment where we want our protagonist, our main character, to be running as quickly as possible to get away from this man-eating bear, we slow the action down with the adverb. Well, the solution, of course, is to choose a much better verb. Come down to the second example. He sprinted, pursued by a bear. Well, this verb sprinted includes the idea that he's running and that he's moving very quickly, and so it's a much more useful way of describing the action. Now we also have a question of tone. He sprinted, pursued by a bear, is slightly comic in tone because we only find out afterwards why he's running so quickly, whereas in this one, pursued by a bear, he sprinted, we don't get any instance of comedy there, just the urgency at which he needs to move. Personally, I prefer the comic version, but you might not be writing a comic piece of writing. Here is another example of how choosing a better verb gets rid of an adverb. Goldilocks ate greedily, devouring 3 bowls of porridge. Well, greedily again is a great adverb here, and it does help us picture how she's eating. But really, when you get to devouring, we get a sense of her greediness anyway. It's certainly quick eating, isn't it? But let's be fair, she might have been starving, and therefore she's not being particularly greedy. So, okay, well, we'll keep the adverb because it's telling us more information. But look at this. Goldilocks devoured all 3 bowls of porridge. Now, when we do it that way, devoured gives us the idea of her real hunger, and just changing from 3 bowls of porridge to all 3 bowls of porridge, we can now infer that she's being greedy. I think we could also choose a better verb. Goldilocks stuffed herself with 3 whole bowls of porridge. Now we haven't got any sense that she might be hungry just because she's been starving. We've got the total greedy idea with the verb stuffed, and we can then emphasize it with the word whole, with 3 whole bowls of porridge. Okay, Mr. Salles, so show us how we should use adverbs. Well, the main use for adverbs is when you want to slow down time. Let's have a look at this example. How long ago was World War II? Decades, thought Amal, searching carefully for any memory about defusing bombs. In films, they always cut wires nervously, sweat dripping slowly onto their shaking fingers. The giant black metal shape he had uncovered in the garden shed sat menacingly, but not quite silently. When he tapped it, oh so gently, Amal was sure he heard a steady tick. Now, I have overdone the adverbs in this, okay, but we can still say they are doing a really useful job. They are slowing the action down for effect. We sense Amal's nervousness and Amal's fear because the bomb is already ticking, and slowing down time in this situation makes it more likely the bomb will explode with Amal still there. So my main message has been, don't use adverbs unless you absolutely have to, and if you have to, use them to slow down time. You can practice using adverbs skillfully by going a little bit extra, going overboard, which is what I've done here. The exam approached relentlessly, mercilessly. I revised haphazardly, sporadically, anxiously. Fortunately, after watching Mr. Salles' videos regularly, religiously, reverently, I felt more prepared, probably. Confidently, creatively, I crafted perfect revision notes. Studying feverishly, ferociously, I felt fully prepared. The exam arrived, and I entered the hall calmly, casually, and commandingly. I blitzed the first 4 questions quickly, cunningly, comprehensively. Eventually, ecstatically, expectantly, I turned to the description question. It read, describe a moment when you felt unprepared. Don't use adverbs. I yelled out fiercely, fricatively, finally, something beginning with F. So you can have fun with adverbs, but the examiner needs to see it's for a real effect rather than to prove you're describing. In other words, my main message is there has to be a reason for the adverb, not just, hey, look at me, I'm describing. So let's see what else Stephen King says. He says, think of adverbs this way. They are like dandelions. If you have one on your lawn, so one adverb in your writing, it looks pretty and unique. Then it's safe to use. But if you fail to root it out, however, you find 5 the next day, 50 the day after that, and then, my brothers and sisters, your lawn is totally, completely, and profligately covered with dandelions. So what he's getting at here is that adverbs infect your writing, and once you get more than one adverb in it, your writing's been ruined.